We like to think we have mapped the entire world and discovered every species on Earth. But modern sonar, deep-sea cameras, and satellite images keep capturing things that biology says should not exist. Today, we explore 7 terrifying creatures caught on camera or documented by scientists that defy all logical explanation. And number 1 is a bizarre entity that local tribes have been warning us about for centuries. Number 7. The Ningen. The icy waters of Antarctica are some of the most isolated and extreme environments on our planet. In the early 2000s, Japanese government research ships reported seeing something massive moving under the ice. They described it as a completely white, humanoid creature over 30 meters long. It had no distinct facial features, just 2 massive black eyes and a slit for a mouth. Unlike a whale, the crew reported seeing long human-like arms and hands with 5 fingers. Some reports claim the creature approached submarines, swimming smoothly alongside them in the freezing dark. The Japanese government allegedly ordered the researchers to keep the sightings quiet to avoid public panic. However, blurry photographs and sonar anomalies were supposedly leaked to the public. Biologists argue it could be an incredibly rare albino whale or a massive undiscovered species of ray. But a whale does not have arms, and a ray does not have a human face. Whatever the Ningen is, it remains hidden beneath the impenetrable ice of the South Pole. Number 6. The atmospheric beasts. We always look down into the ocean or deep into the jungle for new species, but some researchers believe there is an entire ecosystem hiding right above our heads in the clouds. For decades, military radars and pilots have tracked massive, semi-transparent anomalies high in the atmosphere. These are not metal UFOs. They behave exactly like living biological organisms. Witnesses describe them as looking like giant floating jellyfish or amorphous clouds of flesh. They move against the wind, change shape, and sometimes react when airplanes get too close. Theoretical biologists suggest that creatures could evolve to be lighter than air, riding the atmospheric currents. They could survive by absorbing solar radiation or feeding on microscopic bacteria in the clouds. Because their bodies would be entirely made of gas and thin membranes, they would instantly disintegrate if they ever died and fell to Earth. This explains why we have never found a physical fossil or a body. The sky might not be an empty void, but a massive floating ocean filled with invisible leviathans. Number 5. The Mapinguari. The Amazon rainforest is completely massive, and massive parts of it remain entirely untouched by humans. Local tribes have spoken for generations about a terrifying beast that wanders the deepest parts of the jungle. They describe it as a towering, hairy creature with a foul smell and backwards-facing feet. Most cryptids are dismissed as myths, but scientists took this one very seriously. Why? Because the description matches a giant ground sloth, an animal that supposedly went extinct 10,000 years ago. These prehistoric monsters were over 10 feet tall, had massive claws, and walked on the sides of their feet, making their tracks look backwards. Dozens of modern expeditions have been launched into the Amazon to find surviving members of this species. Explorers have reported hearing deafening, unnatural roars tearing through the canopy at night. Hunters have found massive, unexplainable claw marks ripped deep into the bark of giant trees. Despite the evidence, nobody has successfully captured one on camera. But in a jungle that covers 2 million square miles, a giant prehistoric monster could easily stay hidden forever. Number 4. The Mongolian deathworm. In the unforgiving heat of the Gobi Desert, locals live in absolute fear of a creature that burrows beneath the sand. It is described as a thick, blood-red worm, roughly the size of a human arm. It doesn't have a visible head or eyes, making it look like the severed intestine of a cow. But what makes this creature terrifying is how it kills its prey. Witnesses claim it can shoot a highly corrosive yellow acid that melts everything it touches. Even worse, it supposedly generates a massive electrical discharge, killing camels and humans from several feet away. Scientists initially laughed at the idea of a lightning-shooting worm in the desert. But electric eels prove that biology can generate lethal shocks, and many insects spit burning acid. Several zoological expeditions have scoured the desert, interviewing nomadic tribes. The descriptions from different, isolated witnesses are always exactly the same, down to the smallest detail. The Gobi Desert is vast and largely unexplored. Whatever is killing livestock in the sand is still out there. Number 3. Trunco. In 1924, witnesses on the coast of South Africa watched a terrifying battle happen just off the beach. Two killer whales were fiercely attacking a massive, bizarre sea creature. The creature was described as a giant, snow-white animal completely covered in thick fur. During the 3-hour battle, the creature used its tail to fight back and had a long trunk like an elephant. Eventually, the whales killed it, and its massive corpse washed up on the sand. The local newspaper reported that the body measured 47 feet long and had no distinct head, just a trunk attached to its torso. Astonishingly, the carcass lay on the beach for 10 straight days, but due to a massive failure of communication, no scientist or biologist ever came to examine it. On the 11th day, the tide came in and washed the mysterious monster back into the deep ocean. Modern scientists claim it was just a decomposing whale carcass, known as a globster. But a rotting whale doesn't fight off predators for 3 hours using an elephant trunk. Number 2. The Bloop. The ocean covers 70% of our planet, yet we have explored less than 5% of it. In 1997, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration recorded a terrifying sound deep in the Pacific. The sound, known as the bloop, was an ultra-low-frequency rumble that lasted for over a minute. What makes it terrifying is that the sound was picked up by sensors over 3,000 miles apart. For a sound to travel that far underwater, it had to be incredibly loud. Researchers analyzed the audio profile and noted that it matched the exact frequency pattern of a living marine animal. But there was a massive problem with this theory. To make a sound that loud, the creature would have to be several times larger than a blue whale, the largest known animal on Earth. The government later claimed the sound was just an ice quake, a massive glacier cracking in Antarctica. But many marine biologists still whisper that the audio profile simply doesn't match breaking ice. It matched a biological roar from a leviathan hiding in the black abyss. Number 1. The Fresno Nightcrawlers. In the late 2000s, a homeowner in Fresno, California, checked his security camera footage and found something deeply disturbing. Walking across his front lawn were two pale, bizarre creatures. They had no arms, no torsos, and incredibly long white legs attached directly to a small head. They walked with a bizarre, smooth, stilt-like stride that did not look human. Skeptics immediately called it a fake, assuming it was just kids walking in white pants. But several video experts analyzed the footage and concluded that the knee joints bent entirely the wrong way for a human. A few years later, an entirely different security camera in Yosemite National Park captured the exact same creatures walking through the woods. They ignored the camera entirely, moving silently through the dark. Nobody could figure out what they were until local Native American folklore was investigated. Local tribes have ancient wooden statues that look exactly like the creatures in the footage. The native legends speak of a peaceful race of beings that come from a swamp planet to help rebuild Earth's nature. They have allegedly been visiting our forests for centuries, long before security cameras existed. The fact that ancient statues perfectly match modern security footage is a mystery science simply cannot ignore.